Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. And coming up in the next 30 minutes, Parliament holds a special discussion on 150th year of India's national song Vande Mataram. Home Minister Amit Shah says it continues to hold the same importance even today as during the independence struggle. Conflict escalates across multiple areas along the disputed border of Thailand and Cambodia after both the countries accuse each other of breaching the ceasefire. Ukraine prepares to present a revised peace plan to the White House after Zelenskyy once again rules out surrendering land to Russia. And Team India is set to take on South Africa in the first of a 5-match T20I series in Cuttack this evening after winning the 3-match one-day series 2-1. Shubman Gill and Hardik Pandya are set to return to the side. Russia's top general Valery Gerasimov has said on Tuesday that Moscow's forces are advancing along the entire front line in Ukraine and have been targeting surrounded Ukrainian troops in the town of Mirnohrad. In a command post meeting with officers of the center grouping, Gerasimov said President Vladimir Putin had ordered the defeat of Ukrainian forces in Mirnohrad, a town with a pre-war population of some 46,000 people, to the east of Pokrovsk in Ukraine's Donetsk region. Gerasimov said Russian forces had taken control of more than 30% of Mirnohrad's buildings. Despite being under pressure at the war front, Ukraine will share a revised peace plan with the US on Tuesday, which is aimed at ending the conflict with Russia. The statement has come after talks in London between President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and the leaders of France, Germany and Britain. As the conflict nears its 4-year mark, Kyiv, under pressure from the White House to agree quickly to a peace settlement, wants to balance out a US backdraft that is widely seen to be favorable to Moscow. Monday's hastily arranged meeting among British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and Zelenskyy was aimed to strengthen Ukraine's hand. Zelenskyy later flew to Brussels, where he met European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa. He described his meeting with the two EU institution chiefs as well as NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte as good and productive. Leaders from Estonia, Finland, Ireland, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and Sweden urged the European Union to move quickly with a stalled proposal to use those assets to provide funds to Ukraine. And the Kremlin said on Tuesday that European claims that Russian President Vladimir Putin wanted to restore the Soviet Union were wrong, and that Putin plans to invade, also the claims that Putin plans to invade a NATO member are also absolutely rubbish.
Vladimir Putin does not want to restore the USSR because it is impossible, and he himself repeatedly spoke about it. Saying such things means disrespecting our partners and allies in the CIS, the more advanced integration structure. As for Russia's preparations to attack NATO, this is absolute rubbish. Once again, I call on everybody to listen to the original source, which is our President Putin.
Now, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy has met Pope Leo in Italy as well on Tuesday and stressed the need to continue with dialogue aimed at just and lasting peace. The Pope reiterated the need for the continuation of dialogue and expressed his urgent desire that the current diplomatic initiatives bring about a just and lasting peace. In addition, the questions of prisoners of war and the need to assure the return of Ukrainian children to their families were also discussed, which has been mediated between Moscow and Kyiv as well. A Russian defense military person has said that a military plane crashed on Tuesday during a test flight after repair work at the Ivanovo region. Russia's news agency reported 7 people were on board at the time of the crash, and it was unknown whether they survived. It also said that the plane went down in an uninhabited area. Search crews had been deployed and an investigation opened into the accident. United States President Donald Trump will be hosting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House on the 29th of this month, according to an Israeli government spokesperson. The Prime Minister's office on the 1st of December said that Trump had invited Netanyahu to the White House in the near future, although a date for the visit had not yet been made public. The announcement has come a day after Netanyahu said he expected to discuss the second phase of the ceasefire in Gaza with Trump, as well as opportunities for peace in the region. Netanyahu also said on Sunday that the second phase of the U.S. plan to end the conflict in Gaza was close, but cautioned several key issues still needed to be resolved, including whether a multinational security force would be deployed. Netanyahu said that he would discuss with Donald Trump how to bring an end to Hamas's rule in Gaza. A ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is entering its second month, although both sides have repeatedly accused each other of violating the truce agreement. Armed clashes between Thailand and Cambodia entered a second day on Tuesday. Thousands of people were displaced and forced to flee along the Thai-Cambodian border after deadly clashes erupted between the two neighboring countries. Thai authorities closed nearly 1,000 schools in border areas across 6 provinces and converted some of the schools into emergency shelter centers. On Tuesday, Thai Army said they conducted a tank-fired operation to destroy a compound located on the Cambodian side of the border. In Thailand, total death toll has risen to 3 on Tuesday, while in Cambodia at least 9 civilians have been killed. Both the sides have blamed each other for the renewed clashes and said they would not back down in defending their sovereignty. Thailand and Cambodia have resumed clashes along their disputed border in a flare-up which undermines a ceasefire brokered by Donald Trump only 6 weeks ago. And the US President has announced on Monday he will allow NVIDIA to sell its advanced H200 computer chips to approved customers in China, a boost to the semiconductor giant whose chips are widely used for artificial intelligence.
US President Donald Trump has cleared the way for tech giant NVIDIA to sell its advanced H200 chip to China in a significant easing of Washington's export controls targeting Chinese tech. Trump in a post said that he had informed Chinese President Xi Jinping of the decision to allow the export of the chip under an arrangement that will see 25% of sales paid to the US government. He also said exports would be allowed to approved customers under conditions that protect national security and that his administration would take the same approach in relation to other chip makers such as AMD and Intel. The announcement marked a significant shift in US export policy for advanced AI chips, which Joe Biden's administration had heavily restricted over national security concerns about Chinese military applications. Democrats in Congress quickly dismissed the shift as a huge mistake that will help the Chinese military and economy. Republican Representative John Molinar also concurred with the Democrats, adding that China would use the chips to strengthen its military capabilities and surveillance. The announcement comes amid trade tensions between Washington and Beijing as the two largest economies in the world compete for dominance in artificial intelligence technology. Bureau Report, DD India.
India's Ministry of External Affairs has confirmed that the new US Deputy Ambassador for Trade, Rick Switzer, will be visiting New Delhi on Wednesday and Thursday for trade talks. Switzer serves as the lead of the US negotiating team for the India-US bilateral trade agreement.
The new Deputy US Trade Representative, Ambassador Rick Switzer, he will be visiting India on 10th and 11th of December. This visit is a familiarization visit, as also to meet with senior officials in the Government of India. As you are aware, both governments remain engaged with a view to concluding a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial multi-sectoral bilateral trade agreement.
A fire broke out at a 7th-story building in Indonesia's capital Jakarta on Tuesday with at least 22 people killed. Susatyo Purnomo Kondro, head of Central Jakarta Police, said that the fire has been extinguished and efforts to find more possible victims inside the building are on. Police said a battery that exploded on the first floor had ignited the fire, which spread to the upper levels of the building in central Jakarta before being put out. The building is the office of Terra Drone Indonesia, which provides drones for aerial survey activities with clients in the mining to agriculture sectors. In an attack at a security checkpoint in Pakistan's Kurram district, 6 soldiers and 3 police personnel have been killed. The overnight attack comes at a time when Pakistan and Afghanistan are struggling to maintain a fragile truce following October's intense border clashes. Islamabad has blamed the escalating violence on Afghanistan, accusing it of planning and executing attacks across the border, while Kabul has rejected the charges, calling Pakistan's security crisis an internal issue. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is the Pakistani Taliban, has claimed responsibility for the attack. The attack adds to rising tensions marked by repeated failed peace talks hosted by Qatar, Turkey and Saudi Arabia. The International Criminal Court has sentenced Sudanese militia leader Ali Mohammed Ali Abdul Rahman to 20 years in prison for war crimes and crimes against humanity. The ruling comes after the court earlier convicted him on the 27 counts, including rape, murder and torture committed during Sudan's civil war in the Darfur region between 2003 and 2004. The ICC says the verdict sends a strong message of accountability for atrocities committed during one of Sudan's darkest chapters. Cuba's Supreme Popular Tribunal on Monday sentenced former Economy Minister Alejandro Gil Fernandez to life in prison following a closed-door trial which found him guilty of espionage in one of the country's highest-profile corruption cases in decades. The court additionally found Gil guilty of a range of corruption charges in a second trial, including bribery, falsification of public documents, influence peddling and tax evasion. He was sentenced to a concurrent 20-year sentence for those crimes. The defendant has the right to appeal the sentences within 10 days. Abu Dhabi in the UAE is hosting the Global AI Show 2025 under the theme AI 2031 Accelerating Intelligence Features. The event brings together technology leaders, researchers, policy makers and major industry players as the region strengthens its profile as a center for digital transformation and smart innovation. The show features leading voices from across the AI landscape, including specialists in machine learning, robotics, quantum computing, generative AI and ethical AI. Speakers examined how artificial intelligence is reshaping global innovation. The discussions also focused on the region's investment climate.
The Indian market has been fantastic for VC. It's been highly sought after. Just India has done a fantastic job in terms of creating a lot of value in their companies and their IPOs. And I think in a place like Abu Dhabi, the government has been very vocal and its leadership has been very aware that we have a moment in human history that is able to balance between the forces of what's happening in the East, in China, in the West, in the US and other places, and to really take the best of both worlds and create something that is democratized in the middle, that uses the best technology, that is very aware, that is human-centric, that is AI for good, and that is really going to catapult this part of the world as well as the technology of AI that comes from here, to the region and to the rest of the world as well. And I'm very, very interested to see how the future is going to play out.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. India's civil aviation regulator DGCA slashes Indigo's schedule by 5% in a fallout of its travel chaos fiasco. And aromas of delightful dishes from rural India waft through Delhi's air at the annual Saras Ajivika Food Festival.
Dr. Shashi Tharoor, welcome to Moscow. How crucial was Russia's support in India's early decades?
Mr. Khrushchev, in particular, opened up Indo-Soviet relations phenomenally. They helped India in everything from setting up the Bhilai steel plant to the whole business of cooperating with India's space programs. All sorts of things happened. The extraordinary success of the BrahMos missile. The Bra comes from the Indian Brahma, and the Mos comes from Moscow.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, the winter session of India's Parliament has been underway. In New Delhi, the Rajya Sabha has taken up the special discussion on the 150 years of Vande Mataram, the national song of the country. Union Home Minister Amit Shah opened the discussions in the upper house. He spoke at length about the historical and cultural importance of the national song. Other senior leaders from the BJP have also spoken on the issue, while from the opposition, Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge spoke about the matter. The Rajya Sabha has allotted 10 hours for the discussion on this subject. Speaking in the Rajya Sabha, Home Minister Amit Shah said that discussion of Vande Mataram in both houses will help future generations understand its true importance and glory.
वंदे मातरम पर चर्चा की जरूरत, वंदे मातरम के प्रति समर्पण की जरूरत वंदे मातरम बना तब भी थी, आजादी के आंदोलन के वक्त भी थी, आज भी है, और जब 2047 में महान भारत की रचना होगी तब भी रहे, क्योंकि अमर कृति मां भारती के प्रति, भारत माता के प्रति समर्पण, भक्ति और कर्तव्य के भाव जागृत करने वाली कृति है.
The Home Minister also said that the national song is an immortal creation which reflects significant traditional and nationalistic values of India. He also stressed that Vande Mataram is not just limited to Bengal.
कुछ लोगों को इसमें दिखता है कि बंगाल में चुनाव आने वाला है, इसलिए वंदे मातरम की चर्चा हो रही है. वो वंदे मातरम के महिमा मंडन को बंगाल के चुनाव के साथ जोड़कर कम करना चाहते हैं. ये सही है कि वंदे मातरम की रचनाकार बंकिम बाबू बंगाल में पैदा हुए, बंगाल में गीत की रचना हुई, और आनंद मठ जिसमें बाद में वंदे मातरम समाहित हुआ, उसकी पृष्ठभूमि भी की बंगाल थी. मगर जब वंदे मातरम का प्रकटीकरण हुआ, वंदे मातरम बंगाल तक सीमित नहीं रहा था, देश तक भी सीमित नहीं रहा था. दुनिया भर में जहां पर आजादी के दीवाने थे, वो गुप्त बैठक भी करते थे, तो पहले वंदे मातरम का गान कर बैठक हुआ.
Meanwhile, the Lok Sabha has been holding a debate on the special intensive revision of electoral rolls as part of a discussion on electoral reforms. Congress MP Manish Tiwari initiated a discussion on election reforms in the Lok Sabha. Other speakers included Sanjay Jaiswal from the BJP and Samajwadi Party's Akhilesh Yadav. The Lok Sabha has allotted 10 hours for the discussion on SIR and electoral reforms, and both the houses of Parliament are expected to function till late into the night. The Aviation Regulator, Director General of Civil Aviation, has pulled up Indigo over its winter 2025 schedule. In a fresh DGCA notice dated the 8th of December reveals that while Indigo was approved for more than 64,000 flights for November, the airline actually operated over 59,400 flights, recording 951 cancellations during the month. The DGCA notes that Indigo was allowed a 6% increase in its schedule compared to the previous season, but the airline could not deploy the required number of aircraft, operating only 339 jets in October and 344 in November, far below the approved 403. Citing the airline's inability to operate efficiently, The regulator has now directed Indigo to cut its schedule by 5%, especially on high-demand routes, and avoid single-flight sectors. Indigo has been asked to submit a revised schedule by 5 p.m. by Wednesday, I beg your pardon. Now, this notice comes amid weeks of disruptions, raising major concerns about capacity planning and passenger impact during the busy travel season. And to review the situation arising from the recent Indigo operational issues, Director, Ministry of Civil Aviation Tanvi Sundaryal visited Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport, Kolkata. She held a review meeting with senior officials of Airports Authority of India, Kolkata Airport, CISF and airline representatives, where detailed discussions were conducted regarding ongoing actions. During her visit, Sundaryal undertook a comprehensive inspection of passenger touchpoints and interacted directly with affected travellers to understand their concerns firsthand. She reiterated the Ministry of Civil Aviation's commitment to ensuring that passenger convenience and safety remain top priorities. India's Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan met Saudi Education Minister Yusuf bin Abdullah Al Benyan on Tuesday to discuss expanding bilateral cooperation in education, innovation and research. The two sides explored setting up foreign campuses of Indian universities in Saudi Arabia and vice versa, facilitating joint research in emerging technologies and increasing the number of CBSE schools in the kingdom. The minister also invited more Saudi students to pursue studies in India. Delhi Sundar Nursery has come alive with flavors from across the country as the Saras Ajivika Food Festival brings rural India straight to the capital, a celebration of taste, tradition and the rising confidence of women entrepreneurs. Here's a report by DD India's Kriti Vadhera.
The winter charm of Sundar Nursery turned into a bustling showcase of India's culinary heritage. Under the National Rural Livelihoods Mission, the festival has brought together nearly 300 women entrepreneurs from self-help groups representing 25 states. These Lakpati Didis stand proudly behind their stalls, serving the dishes of their homeland, from Hyderabadi biryani to Kashmiri kahwa, Bihar's litti chokha to northeastern momos and laughing. For them, it isn't just food fare, it's a pathway to financial independence, earning through their skills and owning their success.
We are coming from Northeast Tripura with 4 SAG members, and we are serving Bashanti Pulao and chicken kosha and Pitha Puli Paesh, which is very demandable.
I am coming from the Arunachal Pradesh, Tawang district, and I am this Saras Mela is give opportunity to serve Tawang food. I am serving ting momo, chicken momo, and veg momo. Laughing also, kapse also. Kapse is the snacks of Mumbai tribe. Delhi people like all my food. Chicken momo is selling is very good. Laughing selling is very good, and ting momo also selling very good.
Visitors, meanwhile, were relishing every bit of the experience. Families and food lovers were flocking to the lawns, praising the authenticity of the flavors and the warmth of the women behind each counter. The festival quickly became a crowd favorite, with people savoring both the cuisine and the stories carried in every recipe.
We tried all the state food and it was quite a good experience. And each and every state has different food, different dishes. We have first of all tried Himachal, then Kerala, then Bihar, Goa, Gujarat and Odisha. Each and every state we have tried.
This isn't just a food festival. It's a clear sign which shows that the strength of India lies in the hands of its women. Be it the way they are cooking the food, the way they are serving, or simply their journey. Everything is worth celebrating. The food festival ends here, but every dish which was served here is a clear sign of courage.
of their stories. With camera person Vishwa Bandhu, I'm Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
I'll quickly get you some sports as well. India and South Africa are set for a high-stakes T20I clash at Cuttack's Bharati Stadium, the first of 5 matches in the series. The men in blue enter with a formidable momentum, having won all 6 bilateral series since their 2024 T20 World Cup triumph. Shubman Gill and Hardik Pandya return from injury, while Abhishek Sharma's explosive form adds firepower at the top. Jasprit Bumrah's comeback further strengthened India's bowling attack, though concerns remain over Suryakumar Yadav's lean run. South Africa, struggling with just 5 wins in 14 T20Is this year, will rely on Quinton de Kock's consistency and Dewald Brevis' striking ability. Anric Nortje's return boosts their pace unit as well. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen to download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news that breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.